You are now checking out
the Win Podcast,
where the everyday people
are the celebrities.
So let's get to know them.
My name is Mercy. That's what everyone calls me. That's what everyone's comfortable calling me. And I am a living entity on this planet called Earth. I strive on love, and I'm being the best version of myself every day. So that's who I am.
Dope. Now I want to dive into...
Right away.
I want to dive... you did with the first one. Now I'm going to dive deeper. Hey, that's what she said. To basically your writing, right?
Yeah.
How did you get into writing? That's like my first part of the question, and and how did it help you? Because everyone knows, well, I know as an artist as well, writing can be very therapeutic.
Oh yeah. Okay, so first set of things. I started writing when I was 12. That was when I wrote my first poem. And why? Love. Remember, that's what I told you. I'm here striving for love. And it just began as a therapeutic thing, I guess you could say. You go through your crushes, you're 12 years old, you don't know how to deal. I wrote about it. I've always been very close to my brother, but he's a guy, so who did I go to? Myself. And I think that's how I literally started the whole self-healing process, because I'm a self-healer. So poetry, writing ultimately became this part of me, in the sense that I used it to self-heal. So I would lock myself in my room going through things, and what are you doing in there? Writing.
Was that something that was taught to you? How did you, assume this 12-year-old asshole made me cry and he broke my heart?
Right.
Let me write. Let me grab
And
this
he
pen.
He didn't.
He didn't.
Puerto Rican Tony from 190 between St. Nick's and something else by George Watson High School. No, he didn't.
He didn't break your heart.
He didn't. I didn't know how to go through all these emotions. That's all it was.
What did he do to you? It's all right. Tell him. Put him on the spot. Tony, we're looking for you.
I actually saw Tony as an adult.
Okay. Never mind. What's up, Tony?
I'm trying to think of how the first time I saw you, I thought you looked good. The first time I met you, you looked more cute. It wasn't really a conversation. They just introduced us, and I knew you were the one who captured my heart. He was nothing like the other ones. He looked more careful. But I knew I would enjoy talking to him for a second. We never really talked. But listening to him breathe on the phone just made me fall in love. It's not like I like him. It's more like I love him. He made me forget what I felt for the others. It would be good if he felt the same way. I really don't know, but I don't think it's the same. It would be good if he told me about it. I truly love him, and there's no doubt about it. So he didn't break my heart.
Yes, Tony. We need Tony up there.
Tony was just making me feel these things, and I'm 12. I knew that it was something. I just didn't know what to call it. I called it love, and to me, oh my God, I'm in love with Tony. But Tony and me were together for 2 months. If you call it together, what? He was in one floor, me in the other. Junior high school, but that's all it was. That's how I began my healing. That's not even my healing. That's how I began to dissect my emotions.
But how did you know how to do that? I guess that's my question. Was it like an instinct automatically?
Instinct.
Wow.
Instinct.
See, that's
but
dope.
I learned later that my dad used to write for my mother. And the only Spanish piece in my book, in the dedication or the acknowledgement, was to my mom. And it said, gracias por dejarme saber que mi papá te escribía poemas, which means, thank you for letting me know that my dad used to write poems for you. The minute you said that to me, it changed everything. Because at that point, I understood, oh shit, this is genetics. So.
I'll go even deeper than that. Me hearing that story, right? I automatically connect to that. This was already inside you, like you said, genetics, right? But on a spiritual level, this is something you did in a past life. I believe we lived different lives before and different other lives. So
I'm with you on that.
Was a writer. Reason why I feel like that's confirmed, because I asked you, what made you want to do that? And you were like, I don't know, it was an instinct. I just went. And I can relate to learning how to play the guitar.
Right.
I just had this passion to do it, and the moment that I was starting to learn how to play, a lot of things came faster to me. And people was like, did you play for a lot of years? I'm like, no, I just started like 2 months ago.
Right.
So I started making that connection. And once I met my spiritual teacher, she confirmed it and stuff like that. Yeah,
you have a spiritual teacher?
Yes.
I would love to meet her.
Guru Enlightenment. Yeah,
oh my God.
We're going to get into it. She's in this interview as well. I have like a segment. Which we get into it. We can talk about it. She's an amazing woman, helped me in my life. She's like the oracle from the Matrix.
Oh shit!
She knows everything about you.
That's dope.
Talks about, teaches you spirituality, which is about believing in yourself, and you have a lot of gifts that you came down, and is about pretty much breaking free from society and owning your journey because you came here for a purpose.
There you go.
And it's all free, and you're like, what? This is brilliant. Yeah. No, it's not. But a lot of people think she does it all for free. Wow. That is her journey in this lifetime to be a teacher and help others.
Okay,
I'm with it. Commercial break after that. No,
for real, right?
Yeah, but we'll definitely talk more and stuff like that because she's in this interview.
That's amazing.
So I love that your dad basically used to write poems, right? For your mom. That's how he slid into DMs, kind of.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Sliding into DMs back in the days.
I think he already had her, but
you slid the poem.
Yeah.
Are you close to your father? Do you have a relationship with him?
My father passed when I was 4. Actually, November 2nd, 1990. He just made 29 years.
Did you remember or did you read any type of his poems? Or did your mom ever recite something?
No, I wish she did. The story goes such as he had the collection of the poetry and he gave it to a singer from back in those days. And in giving him the book of poetry for my mom, the history was lost. And then my father passed when I was 4, and I didn't get to hear about this till I was about 27. So, it's something I never heard, I never read, but I could only imagine.
And then you started writing again, correct me.
When I was 12.
When you was 12, because of Tony. And then... How did you
Because of love, not because of Tony.
Because of the love of Tony.
Yes.
How did you feel after writing that? Like, do you remember that feeling after you was done writing that?
I can't say I remember those past feelings from being so young. I do remember the more present ones.
Right.
And it's just this you feel alleviated, you feel light again. At least me.
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, I let it out. I'm good now. And then in writing, that's how I begin to dissect. Like, okay, this is why I felt that way, and I'm gonna feel better if. So
What have you learned so far? I know there's pretty much a lot of lessons, but what did you learn about yourself through this whole process of writing, and whether you're different types of feelings, sadness, happiness, or maybe just venting. What have you learned about yourself through this whole process?
I learned my patterns. I learned that I have the eternal girlfriend syndrome. And for those who don't know, it means that you're literally on cloud 9 and on high mode for about 3 months, and then you're like, okay, I'm over it. I learned how to get over things. I learned that no matter what I go through, I've always been through something worse. What could be worse than losing my dad when I was 4?
Yeah.
So my whole story behind breakups and romantically or just friendships, it's literally I've loved harder. I've been through worse. I could get over this. So that's what I learned how to do.
Now, there's also the thing in there where you said you didn't say kind of like almost in the sense that you said looking for love, or you are... You live your life based on love. Can you elaborate on that? Like, because a lot of people say, I need someone to love me. People can take that a lot different. I want people to love me, or I just want to be loved. And when I hear certain things like that, it could be one-sided. Also, be like, well, that's one aspect of it, but I also want to learn to love myself, and I love the love that I give myself, the flaws and all stuff. So just elaborate on that when you say I'm a person living based on love. I think that
was it. I came on this earth because of love. My parents loved each other. They were together since my mom was like 13. My dad was 15. Finally got married at 18. Had my brother at 20. I came at 28. Something like that. So I came because of love. It wasn't anything other than that. Then I was raised on love. I was raised to think that I'm the fucking shit and that I could do no wrong. In the sense that as long as I'm myself, I'm okay. I was raised understanding love. And with that, I'm saying that loving comes so easy to me. It's so easy to me to tell anyone I just meet, I love you. Oh my God, I love you. And I don't mean it just because I'm in the moment and it's dope. No, like if I feel it, I'm going to say it. I'm also the type of person that if I'm not feeling you, you'll never hear from me again. You know, so being raised on love, coming from love, just allows me to be the biggest thing there is, which is love, you know. And that hasn't always been great because I'm not the best person. I'm talking about love, but you know, my brothers can tell you I've been the biggest bitch. But I call that being emotionally spoiled. So when you could basically do no wrong, you're gonna do whatever the hell you want, and that meant hurting a lot of feelings as well. So it's all based on love.
So how do you learn from that and kind of like adjust, knowing that this was a, you know, this was a trend that was going on, and eventually you had to learn how to take responsibility. But like, I can't keep being this way all the time. You know, how did you learn how to juggle this one side and now trying to learn to be this other side? Compassion, let me not be bitchy, let me not be on this emotional princess type thing, you know, but that was what I was raised on. So how do you cipher that and learn, like, it's not all about me all the time or what I feel?
I learned by hurting people, and I no longer wanted to be that person because I found myself hurting people that loved me so hard. And because, you know, they love me so hard and it's so unconditional, I could do no wrong.
Right.
So in hurting these people, I had to take a step back, you know, and karma came around and slapped me so hard because I learned the other side of love, the not so nice side of love. And, you know, I was never hit or anything, but I feel I've been in emotionally abusive relationships. I learned patterns that I never want to see again. So the minute I see them, I run. So I learned how to be better by having a few scares, and by hurting people. I had to have a seat. I had to have a few seats.
How was it facing those things where now there's a difference of writing it, but now you have to live in it? Well, how did you overcome those moments? Because when people have to face themselves in the mirror and now put in the work, they get discouraged and don't want to do it. And that's why people keep on repeating the same thing. But I get the idea that you made changes. And even though it was tough and you still are making changes, how did you overcome? It's like, Mercy, all right, now implement the action.
So one of the things I say in my book, and I learned from my first divorce, was that situations change, people don't. The core of who you are always remains. What happens is that you evolve through those things. So while I could still be a heartless bitch, I choose not to be. I made a choice to be a better person. So in studying my patterns, I kind of took a couple step backs, like I said, and I had to literally learn from my mistakes and just adopt and adapt. So as simple as I could say it, that's
makes
it.
Sense.
Yeah.
You mentioned the book, which was great because I wanted to know what made you want to create a book.
So this book has been in the works, oh my God, since I was like 18. And, you know, it was going to be something completely different. And I wasn't sure if it was just going to be poems or a couple of short stories or how to do it or where to go. And I started editing when I was about 25 because, of course, I was like, I'm going to publish at 18 or I'm going to publish at 21 or I'm going to publish at 25. And life literally just kept happening and I kept writing. And it just got to the point where I was like, you know what? It's going to feel right and I'm going to do it when it feels right. So when I started editing, I had all my poems from back in the days, I'm talking my teenage years, from Tony to whoever. And then I started editing them, literally like taking emotions out of them. And I had to pause and tell myself, you know what, Mercy, this is not fair to the poetry. That's who you were. You have to go from who you are right now. So that'll probably come out at some point, but I had to write from the place I was in right now, the awakening of all these senses because of love, because of hurt, because of lessons, because of experiences. So the book came about because I had all this in my hands and I kept putting it on social media and at some point, that's all my social media was, my poetry. People would say, oh, put up a picture of you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, I'll put a thirst trap up. You know what I mean? But it was ultimately, you feel me? With a poem. And then I would notice that my pictures would get like 500 likes and my poetry would get like 50 likes.
Yes, it's normal. That's actually accurate. That's
what?
so accurate.
I would be hurt because I'm not here for my face. I know I'm cute.
Yeah.
But, you know, so I decided to just put everything together and finally make my promise to myself come true. So I always said I was going to publish a book. Amazon made it very easy for me. I didn't have to go through publishers, through editors, through anybody. This was all me, except for the graphics and the cover because I had a great graphic designer. But, you know, other than that, it was on me. I had to put it out there. I needed for people to identify with something. There's so many people out there who cannot put it into words. Right. And I'm doing that for them. And I'm not just saying that. Like, people literally hit me in my DM and they're like, wow, thank you.
Has guys like Tony slid and with a, well, like your dad, with a poem in your DM?
Yes, and then I had to block them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, now you're going to be featured in their book. Just letting you know.
Exactly. Yeah, that would come up. You know, I get a lot of, oh my God, your soul, or oh my God, your energy. Because that's what I put out. I mean, you see my social media. So they think that by doing that, they're going to get to me. And I just sit there like, You feel me, boo? Like, baby. So no, I see right through the bullshit. So they're just trying to tell me they speak my language. They don't.
How was it for you? A lot of cool things that popped in my head. How was it for you in the beginning now to... I feel like it was steps, right? You're writing in the room, you're facing those things, and then there's another world of feeling naked now, you're presenting it on social media. Was it uncomfortable for you, or was it, well, these are my words, I'm just going to do it, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, was it weird for you now to put your words out there to live and be read by other people? I'm
a natural performer. I danced for 20 plus years, trained dancer. My mother was a dancer as well, so I got the writing from my mom. The writing from my dad and the dancing from my mom. But no, it wasn't. I've been literally partially naked on stage with a leotard and tights, and I could mess up in choreography, and now you have this image of me, oh my God, she busted her ass and fell on her face.
Do you have that video?
I don't. I hope nobody has it. No. I'm done. No, I don't. But with the writing, it's a different kind of exposure, right? So for me, it's easier to write a poem than to present choreography at this point. So no, it wasn't hard, and I wasn't scared of what anyone would think and what anyone would say. And to be honest with you, I don't think one person has come to me with like something negative to say, to be honest. If anything, everything is very empowering, a lot of thank yous, you know, but nobody has been brave enough to put themselves in the shoes for me to have to curse them out.
I love this story because it's about taking initiative and going after what you love and staying true to this dream. So my question is, like, what gave you the balls to do that, right? Because we live in a society where we have to wait for other people to give us that opportunity. Or if you're going to do it a different route, well, it ain't with the top publisher, right? Which can like discourage us sometimes as being an artist. But in your case, maybe you thought about it for a second, but it wasn't so crucial that it's going to stop your process. It was like, well, I'm going to fucking do it. So what gave you the motivation to really say, fuck it, I'm going to do it? Because there's a difference of wanting to do it, but then being motivated to actually go through it.
I could honestly say that I'm very inspired by other individuals. I don't follow a lot of people on social media, but there's a few writers that I do follow, and I see that they kind of did it on their own with the self-publishing. And I'm definitely coming from a background where I've been rejected. You know, I'm auditioning and I'm not the person they want. I was literally told by Dance Theory of Harlem that they couldn't give me a full scholarship. I was like in 7th grade at the time because they didn't know how my body would develop.
You should send an email like, you done fucked up. She wrote a book, bitch. She don't need your stupid ass scholarship.
Feel me, bitch? But they didn't. Then Alvin Ailey said, you know what? she's a great dancer. We're going to take the chance with her. So I've been in situations where I've been rejected, and I've given people the power to say yes or no to me, even though I know I'm the fucking shit, you know? So this was one of those opportunities where I literally saw it it was right in front of me. I waited for so long because I didn't know how it would pan out. I have to feel things. I have to feel it in my core and my gut. And what was I waiting for? A publisher, an editor. So I was going to publish this book and then take it to people? No. Amazon made it so easy for me. It's 2019. If Trump could be president, I could publish a fucking book.
That's super facts.
Hello.
Yeah. So like what you ooze and this thing that I'm hearing is like confidence. Of course, there's times of uncertainty.
Oh yeah.
Right. Because you're not painting this picture like I had it all planned out and figured out, right?
No.
Because you admit I had these flaws and stuff like that. I had to learn. But what I also love is that you mentioned that your parents and your family raised you already building that confidence in you. I want to know what was some of those things that you can remember that they were implementing in you to be strong, to be courageous, because I think that's so crucial to raising a child, to raise them with confidence and to really look in themselves in the mirror and be like, it's okay to be you. Can you remember certain, I guess, pep talks that you got from your family, being raised to be this woman that you are right now?
I can't say that there was any pep talks. There was a lot of action, though. If I had a show, they would hype it up to the umpteenth power, and not because all 20 or 50 of them would show up. It's just like, oh my God, Mercy did this great thing. But it's not just me. I have lawyers and business owners in my family, and it's like, oh my God, Diana graduated from law school, or oh my God, Ibelice abrió un restaurant. Like it's these. It's just this hype.
You celebrate accomplishments.
Yes.
It's big or small.
There you go. There you said it perfectly. It's the celebration of such. So if I'm so dope and you're telling me that what I'm doing is so dope, then I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep doing whatever I want. And a lot of people have asked me like, "Oh, what do you dream of doing?" Listen, I have lived every single one of my dreams. I wanted to be a dancer. I was a dancer. I wanted to be married and have a child. I did that. And then I wanted a divorce, and I did that. And I said that. Thank you so much.
This divorce
my whole life after that has been a celebration.
Awesome.
Great man, just not compatible. Great man, great father, just not compatible. So, after that, I never stopped to think about what people felt in the sense of, oh, you're too loud, be quiet. That's what I would get from this person. Or, oh my God, you get so much attention from your family, you don't need it from me. So right there it tells you, you're so threatened by what made me that you're not willing to put yourself in the circle. So if you don't want to be in the circle, I can't push you by, sign on the dotted lines. Ija.
That's great. That's great. That's what you said.
Ija. Ija. So, I can't say that it was one particular pep talk that I got. No, like.
It was your actions.
Oh my God. And my brother, my older brother, Harlow, oh my God. Like, you shut up, Frank. You want me to, where you going? You need an outfit? He would come with like different sizes, different styles. Try these on. Let me see how it looks. Me being a teenager, he would just show up to, the window of my dance studio. We're going shopping today. Literally a poster. We're going shopping today. So I would run downstairs. So, it's little things like that. People amp you up into believing that you're the shit, and that's it. That was my pep talk, my life.
Yeah. Now you have a son?
Yes.
How has motherhood, I guess, changed you in your life and also maybe in your writing?
Patience and tolerance. And, he's going to be 13. Oh my God, January 2nd. And let me tell you, he's not even at the point where it's about girls and how he looks. And, he's getting there with the haircut and this and that. But I'm constantly reminding him, put on deodorant, girls don't like smelly boys.
Does he write?
No, he actually draws.
He draws, okay.
And through his drawing, he makes comics. So you know what? Yes, he writes. He makes comics and he writes these short stories. So he got my artistry through the drawing and the writing through the writing.
It's funny because, the reason why I asked that, I wonder, because like what I believe in, when you come back in different lives and stuff like that, I wondered if that is the spirit of your father who came back down now as your son. Probably. So that's why I asked if, like, does he write? Is something like, so that's interesting. I don't know. I mean, maybe he's not. I'm just saying. But I was like,
I don't know. We're not there yet. His academics, I have to push him a lot. He gets good grades, but he thrives creative. On saying, super creative. So if you're giving him something creative to do, he's going to thrive. Mm-hmm. But when you get to the computing of the math and the dissection of a paragraph, he gets bored. So he'll do it, but lazy. However, when he puts in his work, my God. I've read some of his short stories, and I'm like, Dorian, this is beautiful. Because it's just a creative in him.
What did you ever have a moment during the whole process of this book that you was like, I can't do this. This is either too much, or there's a doubt, like what are people going to think, or something that could have delayed the whole process of it? Was there a moment of you in it? Because sometimes a lot of people do face that, and I think I'm fascinated in your story. You had those moments in your life for personal reasons, but when it came to creativity, I felt like there was a different person.
Definitely.
On that stage and on that pen.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't the human side of Mercy.
No, yeah.
That was a different side. I was like, I'm gonna fucking do it.
Yeah.
So I want to ask that because I find that so great. That did you even have a moment in this whole process of this book, like of doubt? I can't do this. I'm gonna have to stop. Like I don't want to put this out there. Blah blah.
I think the whole process of this book was doubt. That's why I took so long to put it out. I did not mean to rhyme.
No, that's bars.
I'm gonna copyright the shit.
Nah, I'm posting
it. So no, there was never a no. It was just a lot of moments of when, how, and the only hold up with this was the editing process, because everything is edited, because a lot of it I had already posted or I had already written, so it was sitting in my library for so long. But some of it was new, and there's some I can't even talk right now.
It's fine. Take it
pieces in there that are longer than just a poem. They're literally thought out processes in my life. So the editing was more like, oh my God, what if there's a typo and people are going to judge me? So I don't know. I had my brother and my best friend Andri read them, and they were my editors per se. So if there's a typo, it's their fault. But, I just couldn't look at it anymore. So there was never a no. There was just, and I had this person that worked in the same building as me, Mr. Douglas, such a lovely man. He would tell me, just put it out there. Just put it out there, in a loving way, not so abrupt. But he was just like, yo, that's it. If there's a typo, there's a typo. There's a bunch of typos out there. You'll be just fine.
Right.
So, that was it.
Now, I noticed that on the cover of the book, there's a picture of a girl looking outside the window. I wanted to know if that was a connection of that was you growing up. Were you that type of girl, I guess, wondering, having those moments looking out the window? What does that symbolize?
I'm always looking. As a human being, I'm always looking. I'm always studying people. I'm not just getting a master's in mental health counseling because I love to be in school. I've always been good at, sitting with people and having this conversation and helping them find themselves and helping myself find myself. So through people I learn, through vision, through listening, through, whatever, I learn from them. So the world is here to explore. So the little girl, that picture was actually taken by my brother. We're just walking down in Peekskill because I live in Westchester. And he just took the picture. It became part of the book because I sent the graphic designer a bunch of things. And the way it all came together, I'm telling you, manifestation of perfection, because it just makes so much fucking sense.
Yeah, no, because, when I looked at it, right, I like to, see certain things in the book. And I just saw that girl. And two things. I connected to it. One, I'm the same way. I love to observe people. And it also reminded me of my mom. Like in my shows, I talk about how my mom, when she was a smoker, she used to smoke and
by the window.
By the window.
My mother too.
And always looking.
With a fan?
With no fan.
My mother had a fan.
So I was. It instantly took me to that. And when I was a kid, looking at her, and you could tell her mind is wondering whether she's sad, angry. Yeah. Her mind is wondering. Mm-hmm. And this window was her escape from reality sometimes. Mm-hmm. It was her way to be safe and also to look out and wonder. So when I looked at that, I was like, man, I wonder if that's her. That's how she was.
Right.
And then I started looking that outside the window, there's a picture of you walking, which is dope because for me, it's like, here's this little girl looking at other people and maybe wondering about her life. And here's this woman that she turned into in the future.
There you go. So, walking into life. Mm-hmm.
And it awoke her, by doing it, awoke her senses.
Yeah. Wow, look at you. Your interpretation is fascinating. Yeah. I need you to write that for me. I'll pay you.
I just need some tacos,
some
soda. I don't ever take money. I'm hungry at times, so just give me that.
But I cannot.
I think that's dope, and I didn't read the full thing, right?
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not gonna be this person like, oh my god, from page 1 to
no.
I read a couple of these poems that you had in here, but one of them that did stick to me that I wanted to know more about. I'm gonna read it on here too.
Oh my god!
I hopefully don't mess up.
Holy shit! You have to get this.
And so. I don't read well aloud.
Just in your head. Just in your head.
It's on page 66, right?
Okay.
And it was called, let's see if you know it. Nah, it's tough.
I don't know.
Nah, that would be impressive though. It's
surreal.
No,
survival, sorry. Okay.
And it goes a little something like this. I ran out the door screaming, eyes closed and voice at the top of my lungs. I could no longer breathe as I saw my life flash before me. Gushed to my chest and vision blurred. I could tell this would be the end. I had to get help. Out of nowhere, I felt another blow. He was nowhere near me, but the punch of each word was vivid, no profanity out of his mouth. Yet, aggression never felt so present. This couldn't be my story. This couldn't be my truth. So I kept running. Each word put force in my throttle, and that's how I got away. That's how I survived the end.
Holy shit! It's my writing, and you gave me goosebumps. Like, really? Oh yeah, I swear to God.
I gave me goosebumps too. I don't want to say it. I don't have the ego now.
Oh my God!
But I read that, and I was like, damn.
Holy shit!
Like, you mentioned in there, this could not be my truth. Mm-hmm. You know, after leaving that, you know, what is your truth now?
That I survived it. My truth is that I did not put up with it. My truth is that I had to remind myself what I'm worth, and that was just a lesson I had to learn, but it was not my fucking story. So I was like, bye.
And this is, if you can elaborate a little bit, you don't have to go into the full story.
Okay,
this was dedicated not to Tony, because Tony was
great.
No,
Tony was great. This was years after Tony.
This was, I would assume, maybe the divorce, the person you was with, or no?
Not my son's father.
Okay, so what was
another situation?
What was the situation of?
I actually eloped. My brother told me, no, he's not the one. And the quickest way to get me to do something is to tell me not to do it, because I am defiant. That's just who I am. I'm gonna learn because I said so. Right. Mercy G said so. So I would. Jekyll and Hyde. I don't know if you read Jekyll and Hyde. Oh my God. He was amazing at the end. And the minute we got married, it was like, so when are we going to FaceTime? So when are you going to give me my time? Oh, so like, why you not calling me today?
Who the fuck are you?
Thank you. I'm not calling you because I'm out like shopping to buy you a few things. He was in the military. So I'm going to like fly out and, you know. Right. So it became that. And I had never been cursed out by a man. I had never been yelled at by a man, or anyone for that matter. I was not raised on disrespect. My first husband and I, this were our arguments. We would sit here and we would discuss it, and nobody would get loud and nobody would curse, you know. And I'm passive aggressive by nature, and forget it. Like, that's how we were. So to have someone sit there and think that they could talk to me like that, you're not my daddy. You're not any of my brothers. And you're definitely not my mother. So if I don't take it from them, vete pa la mierda. Right. Sign on the dotted line, nigga. You. And then he said he wasn't going to sign on the dotted line, so I had to get white woman on him, but whatever.
How many, I guess, relationships you've been in that didn't go? Why did you get into relationships? That in the end, that kind of like crumbled, and then you realize I'm not supposed to be in here. So like, I guess I'm trying to find out.
How did I get there?
How did you get into these relationships? Yes, you learned from them, right? But then maybe there was a trend of certain things that got you in those situations, and then in the end you realize this person's not for me, this person's not for me, I'm done. You know.
My cousin Marielle told me something when I was about 15 years old. 15 or 16. When you go too fast, you crash and burn. But when you go too slow, you miss out on the best. So I told you, I dive in head first. And I had rushed into my other not rushed, but like I felt mesmerized and I fell in love with these people in like 2-3 weeks. And yes, that shit is possible. Yeah. Talk about connection. So since nothing bad had happened to me, I had no problem rushing into anything else because I've had great relationships. Right. So they would put up this amazing facade and they would tell me sweet nothings, literally sweet nothings, because nothing came of it. And I believed it. I believed that I was safe, that my emotions were safe, that my livelihood, that my heart was safe. So I would just, okay, let's do it. And again, because I study patterns and I'm very, how can I put it? I pay attention. I noticed that things would start to change. So we would go from I love you to where the fuck you at? Whoa. I've never been abused in my life and we're not going to start now. So, that's that.
It seems like you got a lot of love from, family, partial relationships, and I want to know what were some steps that you took to receive that love to yourself? Because I think that was also a part of your process to know your worth and awake your senses.
Oh, yeah.
So what was some, like, for instance, people are like, I'm going to go to the movies by myself. And I'm like, why not? I was like,
my brother Harlow's done that.
I love myself.
Yeah.
Like, I love hanging out with myself. I'm going to go to the movies.
Yeah.
It's cheaper, one. And two, we could talk about it and look crazy. Like, yeah, it's a good movie. It was. So I felt like, like, I never had an issue with that. But people have an issue of being alone. And because they don't want to get to know who and what they are. So I want to know, have you taken those steps? And if you did, what were some of those things that you started to love yourself? Because when we get into relationships, we're always so giving.
Oh, yes.
So you want this, I'll give you that. You're looking for love, I give you love. I have all this love right here, I'll give it to you. But we always forget to give it to ourselves first. So what were certain things that you did?
I don't think I ever stopped loving myself because they showed me amazingness. I opened up freely. And the minute I no longer saw that, I closed myself off because I understand my worth and I love myself and I know that whatever the hell you're giving me is not love and I don't want it anymore. So I think that was very easy for me to notice that change and kind of literally run off. What was the other part of the question?
I guess, no, since you answered it, I guess, what were you looking for in those relationships that you didn't have in your life at those moments, right? Because it seems like very supportive, very celebrate. One artist side of you, you have this confidence, and you're going after it. The human side of you, you're still figuring things out. I know I'm bitchy. I'm gonna be nice. So now you getting into these relationships. If you could think about it, what was certain things you were hoping or looking for in those relationships that you was getting that you was not getting anywhere else?
Compatibility, to be understood. I think that I'm still searching for that. I think that's the only thing I've never gotten from any of my relationships. Okay, I'm lying. From the loves of my life, 2 people. Yeah. But ultimately, I'm not with them now.
Yeah.
And I had to learn, or I have learned, that through life you can have many loves. You can fall in love a few times, because every time you fall in love, you're a different person. You're a different version of yourself, because now you're coming with the lesson and the baggage. So how do I let go of this baggage? How do I take the lesson in and become the best version of myself? So I was constantly not reinventing myself, but rejuvenating.
Right.
So I would get into these relationships with the lesson, but ultimately these people were not giving me what I was searching for, which is the compatibility in I understand you. Like, yeah, my baby's loud. Yeah, my baby will be the one dancing on the floor, but let her do her thing.
Right.
A lot of what I've gotten is, oh my God, you're too much. I literally had a guy tell me, and I'm talking like top realtor, you're too much for me. I don't know what to do with you. I got out his car, and that was the last time I spoke to him. And my last words to him were, you never tell that to a woman. And I just left.
What did you do to, I guess, learn to accept that for yourself? Because before, people are just pointing out the obvious when they see you, right?
Yeah.
But now you said the line, like, looking for compatibility and people to understand me. It seems like you got a good grip on yourself in the sense of, like, I know this is what I am. But at the same time, I'm not going to be with someone that's looking at it as a flaw, rather than just accept it. You may not like it. That's fine.
Yeah.
There's certain things I don't like about you. There's certain things I don't like about me.
Exactly.
How long did it take for you to accept that? And now when you receive it from somewhere else, you're just like, all right, it's not going to work. I get what you're saying, but because I said it to myself at times, and I have to learn to like myself.
The last time I did that was 2009 when I got a divorce from my son's father. Because I remember New Year's going into 2009, I said, I'm done with the bullshit. Because I had never been told by someone that I was too much of anything. I was raised in this marvelous world of my family, and I was never too much. None of us are too much. Like, we're just us. So with him was the beginning and the end. So whenever I would get into these situations with these people, I would literally, my PTSD would kick in. Like, no, he did not tell me to stop saying good morning to people, and why am I so happy all the time?
Do you compare, this is great, do you compare, when you get in a relationship or you meet someone, do you compare the love and celebration and the standard that everyone puts you up, this pedestal that you earn, do you compare that to the family? Like, everyone you meet, they gotta treat me all the way up here. To do that. Because what I'm thinking, right, is what if you don't get that? What if you get someone let's say your family puts you all the way up here. But what if in certain aspects in life, he's giving you this much? Babe, I don't think you're the greatest dancer, but I appreciate your art form. Is that enough for you? Wow, I love your writing though. Super great. Yeah, sometimes you could be a little loud, but I love other things about you. You know what I'm saying? What if everything he dislikes and loves about you is not all the way up there, like how your family brought you up? Is that an issue for you? Like,
no, my family loves me unconditionally. I didn't choose them.
Right.
They are my circle because God was beautiful enough, or the universe was beautiful enough to give them to me. Right. So am I holding everyone else up to those standards? You can't be that great. You could only understand me as deep as you understand yourself, right? So, and you could only love me as deep as you've been loved. And I've been in situations where these people weren't raised on love, or weren't raised on the proper amount of love, whatever that may be, right? It wasn't mine, but whatever.
I feel like if I get you, right? But let's say if I put myself in their shoes, it can be a tough situation to be in. Right. You're catching up. You gotta be this. But then it's not coming from a genuine place because one, they wasn't raised like that. They don't know that now. They feel like they're being trained to be that way.
There you go. And I don't ever want to train anybody. I want you to love me bad on your terms. I want you to understand me bad on your terms. But that doesn't mean that you're going to push me down and kick me. Right. And that doesn't mean that you're going to say, that's okay. Yo, I'm loving you hard as fuck. Yeah. Like, it's just okay. So maybe I'm not the one for you. We don't speak the same love language, and I am no longer going to translate my shit.
Right.
So,
I just wanted to know because I find that interesting. Because one of the things that I love about my wife, before she even became my wife, and she put me in the friend zone, and she put me in the brother zone. She put me in a lot of
Holy shit!
Yeah,
that's beautiful
you
though.
saw Get Out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was there. I drank the tea, and I was lost. I was
Holy, you in the black hole?
Yeah. Hole, Stranger Things. I was in the unknown. The upside down. I was there. It was hard to get back out.
Yeah.
So, but I did it. But what I loved about her was she understood me and she accepted me for what I am. Yeah. Right? And when we started being together, living together, she saw this other side of me, right? I am funny. I am a comedian. I am this. But I'm also very quiet. I also, am a thinker. I'm in my music. I live in my head a lot sometimes. And one thing she had to understand, and she would be a couple times, I would just be quiet. And she's like, "Is everything okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm cool. Just eating oatmeal." My
avena, babe.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like everything is cool. I'm very quiet. But I had to explain that to her because she was learning that. And she accepted it. Yeah. Because I had to learn from that for myself. I'm like, how can I be joking around all the time? How can I be this social outgoing person? But then I have this other side that I want to be home. I want to be by myself. Yes. I want to be alone. Yes. So it's like I had to learn the ins and outs of me and accept that. And I think that's one thing that I love, is that she accepted that.
That's beautiful.
And may not be her favorite thing, right? She may love comedian Rick all the time, right? But now this other side is new that she had to learn to love and to accept.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing when you perform. People just see you when you're on stage, one side.
That's it.
And I take them on a journey from the dark into the positive and all that stuff. But they see me at the end of the day as this person, funny, blah, blah, blah. And then the other side they don't see at home. Right. And they look at it as like, nah, he's going through something.
Right now.
No.
I get that too. Why are you so quiet? I'm just, I don't want to talk. Like it's or I'm at a party, right? People are so used to me being, as I get older, I literally just want to come in, have my drink, people watch, laugh around, sing a dope song, twerk a little bit. But ultimately, I'm no longer 24 putting on a show in the middle of the club. Like, that's just not who I am anymore. So I need people to be okay with the fact that I've evolved. Or, oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long. Dude, I'm not always out. Like, if you catch me outside, woof, you're lucky. Yeah. I love being home by myself.
No, I agree. What advice would you give others to write? They don't have this confidence you have, this artist confidence, right? They're like, I just have the instinct, I'm going to do it. Or, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to fucking do like this passion, this drive. But they do have a gift and they want to write. What advice would you give to other writers?
Don't stop writing. I think that, it was innate and it was an instinct in me, but I developed it through time. I'm not writing like I used to write when I was 15. Not only do I not feel the same, but, I'm an adult now and my writing has evolved. I know where periods go. I know how to not misspell a letter. Not only does Word help me, but, at the end of the day, you have to continue building. So if I could tell anyone anything is don't stop believing. Awesome. Keep writing.
So Mercy, now we got to know you in many different areas of your life.
Yeah.
And now we're going to move the interview forward to my first segment. And then that first segment is called Let's Look Inside.
Okay.
In that segment, I got like 2 questions, right?
Okay.
So that first question is, what in life is beautiful to you?
My family.
Dope. Question number 2.
Yeah.
If we can push the brakes on your life right now, what is something you could pay more attention to in your life?
My son.
That's deep. All right, so now I love it. You like it. Boom. Sometimes people, which I get, they gotta think about it. But it's like, yo, I gotta get for solid. What's that word? Philosophy. I feel like
philosophical.
That.
Philosophical.
I can't say it, but thank you. So they want to be like, I gotta do this paragraph.
Nah, simplicity is always best.
Right. Which I'll take the paragraph, but I'm not asking for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see where it goes.
Yeah.
And that was perfect.
Thank you.
So in segment number 2. There's a callback, which we talked about. It's called Words from My Spiritual Teacher, Guru Enlightenment. So now what I like to do in this segment is read some of her writings that she shared on Facebook, her books and stuff like that. And this is from her book, which is Finding Your Own Answers in the Unknown. It's on Amazon, and you guys can check that link. And by now, you saw her website, I'm hoping, and booked a session. Then this segment of her book is called Motivation. And it goes like this. If you have motivation, you are able to complete so much within yourself. Motivation is and has been inside of you all this time. It's going to get you where you need to be when the time is right. How do you feel hearing that?
That's me. Read it one more time.
I usually do it once, but I'm
No,
not talking.
please.
No. If you have motivation, you're able to complete so much within yourself. Motivation is and has been inside of you all this time. It's going to get you where you need to be when the time is right.
That's it. Everything I've done is my motivation, whether it's my dancing or my marriage and my son or, being a better sister, a better mother. It's all the motivation of being the best version of myself.
You know what's so funny? And I said it in a couple episodes. When I do this segment, I don't handpick it. I just go on her book and I open it. And whatever goes in there, it will be for the person.
That's dope.
Every episode, I kid you not, it relates
to the person
of the journey.
Look at that.
Maybe if I did 40 interviews, maybe 4 or 5 people hit it on the nose. Oh, that's me. And they relate that passage to their journey. And sometimes if they don't, what they said is correct. But I see the connection and I say it.
Yeah.
You already said it. Honestly, everything you've been through in life and what you created and what you succeeded was based on motivation. And it will continue to motivate you to continue to learn and grow, to find out even more about yourself. Motivation to one day find a compatible partner. Like it all relates to that to make all your dreams come true. And if you didn't have that, you wouldn't have done so much in what you shared in this thing. Even the motivation of, you hit it too, and I think you will do it. The question number 2, where you was like, if I stop the brakes right now, more time with my son, more focus on him. And I think that will be a motivation there as well. And it all ties around there. You are now checking out
The Win Podcast,
where everyday people
are the celebrities.
So let's get to know them.